Again. Okay, so the last video cut off, and I think I was at the point where my parents had just divorced whenever I was 12. So working on getting everything set up for these videos. I don't really have any professional equipment or anything, and the lighting is I'm working on that, so this is just kind of how it is for now until I can get a good camera and do it that way. So anyway, so okay, dealing with trauma is never easy. Trauma from being told I was adopted, and my parents were deceased. My dad actually died when I was 14, so I said in the earlier video 15, but he died when I was 14. I didn't get to know him very well, so because he was in a nursing home, and I knew he was my father, but it was just really awkward for me when I would go and try to see him. He would always say, "Oh, well, come here and hug my neck," and it just, I regret that now, but I can't really feel too bad about it because I was a kid, and so that's just how kids kind of react to things. It was just foreign. So yeah, that was traumatic. And then dealing with on top of that, the divorce was traumatic as well, and then moving, and I mean, all of that is textbook trauma for a child, so it's just kind of everything stacked on top of each other there. Yeah, and then my family I was pretty much painted as the black sheep of the family, which is still kind of the way it is now, but it's getting better, a little bit at a time. So, and we did move a lot, so that was hard as well. I became pretty abusive myself as a result of everything. There was actually an incident when I was 12 that happened with my mom and a switch. I had actually called a girl mouthed the B word at a girl at school, and my mom had to come pick me up, and she did use a switch, and it was, if I mention it, or if it gets mentioned now, that gets denied, which I've pretty much dealt with that's not going to change, and that's fine. So that was kind of like my turning point of when I feel like I lost my innocence, or if somebody asked me that question, well, when did you lose your innocence? Well, that would probably have been it for me. So I did become pretty abusive myself, in relationships, and especially the one with the father of my child. So that we met when I was 14. We kind of dated on and off for a couple of years, and then when I got pregnant, I had been so abusive at that, and I guess if you want to just slap a label on it, it would be easy to say, oh, well, she was bipolar, she's like her mom, she's this, whatever. But yeah, I was pretty angry, and it was easy to take it out on him. So that wasn't pretty much made him hate me, and so that's great. But everything happens for a reason, and I feel like if I learn something from it, then it's a good thing. So anyway, when I became pregnant at 18, he pretty much said, screw that, I'm done, I'm out. And so I was alone with that. So I had my child at 19. I had just turned 19 when I had her, and it wasn't easy then either. My mom was still the same. She'd be like, oh, come move back with me and stay here. I have this house, you can live with me, and all nice and hunky-dory and, you know, roses and butterflies. And then just out of nowhere, get out of my house, you blah blah blah, bringing up stuff from 10 years ago, and you did this and that. And she would call the cops on me and say, she's here, blah blah blah, come get it, you know, because this one time in particular, I happened to have a warrant for a ticket or something, and she was like, come get her. So here I am. My kid is in a car seat, a carrier, and it's cold outside. I have to hurry up around the house to get, you know, to get stuff ready and get a baby out of the house before the cops come and get me. And so, you know, needless to say, I didn't go to college, so, you know, because I didn't really have much of a chance. But that's apparently, you know, something that makes me stronger, you know, in the end. So, okay, so, yeah, I'm done with that page. I did end up, you know, getting my own place and kind of being independent. I landed a pretty good job with a company, but I also developed a drinking habit, and I was drunk constantly. So, I mean, there was points when, you know, somebody would get in my car and there'd be a thing of Jaeger just sitting in the cup holder, and I mean, it was pretty bad. It's like I didn't really have much of an outlet to get rid of all of the pent-up trauma, and I mean, it was just really bad. So I was a pretty bad drinker. So that certainly didn't help things, but I did manage to keep my job for 5 years before that turned sour, and that's another story. You know, that could be a whole video in itself, what happened with that, so I won't really go into that. But towards the end of that time at that company, I did meet somebody. This was the last person that I've been with as a relationship. I'm not going to mention his name, but that's when my life just completely spiraled out of control. It ended up, me and him were drinking together very, very heavily, and I had given his mother a gift for Christmas, and his mother apparently didn't like it. I already had noticed that she didn't put it up. It was the wall sconce candle holder thing, and she just apparently didn't like it. So she waited about a year and said, oh, give this to Carrie, she might like it. Like I wouldn't remember that I gave it to her. And I was angry, and I called his mom the C word, and then he choked me and attacked me, and my daughter ended up coming in and, you know, trying to get him off, and, you know, it was really bad. I had bruises, and it was really bad. So then I moved out after that and got another place of my own. I'd actually, after I lost my job at the company, I'd moved in with him, which seemed convenient enough at the time. But yeah, that didn't work, so I moved out, and then I got on a cocaine bender, which, you know, so as if anything, you know, if things couldn't get any worse, that's what I decided to do. So yeah, it's like when you don't know how to release pain and get rid of that, get it out of you, it becomes like it can cause cancer. You know, if you stuff it down and just stuff it down and stuff it down, and I guess I had done that, and was trying to band-aid myself with drugs and alcohol, which did not help at all. It's, you know, those band-aids gotta come off, and they come off pretty quick, and it's like, ow, okay, that hurt. So yeah, then the abuse got worse. I ended up losing another job and moved back in with the ex. And he ended up beating me to one time and hurt his arm and had to wear a sling after that. And so I'm trying to make sure this is kind of short, but yeah, his parents were pretty hoity-toity rich folk and forced him into filing a protective order on me because he made them think that I was hurting him. But that's like a whole video in itself. Anyway, everything spiraled just completely out of control, and when I felt like I was rock bottom, I couldn't get any lower, then, you know, something else would happen to make me lower. And there's a reason for all of this. Everything was being set up for me to, you know, wake up. So that was at a very, very low point in my life when that happened, because I had, you know, I guess the law of attraction or whatever just really sucks apparently whenever you're in this kind of pattern of abuse and, you know, trauma. Then you just stay at the vibration to attract trauma, which, you know, I guess what was happening to me until I dealt with and stopped band-aiding that trauma. So I took my car, which was the only thing I had left to show for anything, you know, financially anyway, and I moved back with my mom, and she was like, oh, everything's gonna be great. And, you know, then I became hooked on an even worse drug. So yeah, anyway, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. I am clean and sober now. I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore, so a lot of good changes have happened. So I'm gonna end that there. I'll probably touch base on some of this other stuff again if I think of something that needs to be gone over. It's just kind of like a bullet pointed list of everything. So yep, that's me and was me. So it's all building up to my awakening. So okay, I hope I don't have a really weird ugly face in my my thumbnail like on that other one. I'm gonna have to change that because I think I'm all like or whatever. It's okay. I gotta get used to this. So okay, thanks for listening. See you soon.